Live from KXAN, this is a severe weather alert from the First Warning Weather Center.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. I'm Meteorologist Freddy Vela, cutting into your regularly scheduled programming. I promise we'll get you back there within a couple of minutes, but I did need to talk about what we've been seeing over the past couple of hours. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and get this all started for you, because we have been seeing a few showers that have been picking up within the area. In fact, we've seen plenty of showers overall, and a couple of warnings that are still in effect right now. So let's talk about where some of the heaviest rainfall continues to fall, and that would be down out towards Mason and into Llano, where we do have flash flood warnings that are in effect, and out towards Travis County, the western portion of Travis County. And as you can tell, the rain finally subsiding a bit more, but we still have a couple of pockets of those showers. So let's zoom in to see where we're actually dealing with some heavy rainfall. Mason continuing to get pounded by a lot of the rainfall that comes in, and then of course we have the flash flood warning that's in effect along the Llano River. In fact, as we zoom in, you can see that flash flood warning is in effect until 4:30 this afternoon. And that flash flood warning also extends into Llano proper itself. And as you can tell, it's most of the western portion of the county because of the heavy rainfall that continues to push through. We also have a flash flood warning for western Travis County, as I mentioned before. This does include portions of Bee Cave all the way up to Leander, and includes Anderson Mill. And this is because we had heavy rainfall coming through the area. We do anticipate that this will eventually expire. However, with still some rainfall moving through, they went ahead and left that flash flood warning in effect. We do have some heavy rainfall that is moving past I-35 to the eastern portions as you get closer out towards Taylor and farther out towards Bartlett. You can see some of the heaviest rainfall that continues to fall there. And then, of course, the downtown area, where we've actually seen some heavy pockets of showers moving through. And then a few more out towards Dripping Springs, down into Driftwood. But as you can tell, they're becoming a lot less as far as the amount of rainfall that we've started to see falling through central Texas. And here's a look at some of our radar accumulations and what we've seen over the past 12 hours. As you can see, Mason County seeing over 14 inches of rainfall in many of the spots. Remember, this is starting to remove some of the stuff that we saw around midnight. So in our next cut-in, I'll go ahead and change that to 24 hours so we can see how much rainfall is actually falling within 24 hours itself. In Llano, over 5 inches. Down to Gillespie County, we've seen over 3.75 inch of rainfall around Fredericksburg. And of course, we've been watching what's happening south of I-10, just past Gillespie County, as we continue to see record-breaking numbers there. As we look, just a reminder, an overall flash flood warning, a lot less now. San Saba now removed from that, the same out towards Lampasas. But if you're within a flash flood warning area, remember, turn around, don't drown, especially in the hilly areas. And if it's darker and a lot of rainfall is coming down, it may be harder to see a lot of those curves. Shelter in place unless told to evacuate, and stay away from creeks and rivers, because we do have flood warnings in effect along most of the rivers, including San Saba, down to Mason, going through the Llano River, over through Llano and down into Burnett County, and then down towards the Guadalupe River as well, that we've been seeing kind of filter through all the way out towards New Braunfels. So I went ahead and got some of the latest numbers that have come in. San Saba River out towards Brady County, which is outside of our viewing area, but that is still at 29.65 feet. That has not adjusted from about 30 minutes ago. But out towards San Saba, that number has gone up 26.77 feet out there. We're expecting a peak of around 32.6 feet later on this evening. Then we look at the Llano River. We've actually seen these numbers increase 29.68 feet out towards the Llano River in Mason, and that's the highest it's expected to go unless we get more rainfall, which we are currently seeing more rainfall, so I expect that number to also rise. But all that water is going to start flowing down the Llano River. We're able to see the Llano River at Llano now at 6.41 feet. That's actually up about 2 feet just within the past 30 minutes, so the water is starting to filter through. If you're within Llano or farther down towards Burnett, just know the water is coming. If you're near the Llano River and you can safely start moving away from it, now would be the time, especially because we're starting to see those numbers starting to rise, and we're expecting a peak of 22.8 feet. And we've also been hearing that the dams will be open farther down the river as well to allow for the water to start filtering through. And so really quickly, one last graphic before I get you back to your regularly scheduled programming. We're continuing to see some of the heavy rainfall in many of the spots, but look, by the time we get out towards the evening hours, we're expecting a lot of the rainfall to finally subside, especially as we get out towards about 10 p.m., 11 p.m. We could see just a few scattered showers that are going to be left over, and then we'll start to get to clearer conditions as we get out towards Saturday and Sunday. Folks, I encourage you to keep it here for the absolute latest. We'll check in with you a few more times before our newscast today at 4:30. And of course, we encourage you to download your First Warning weather app to keep up to date on what's happening and get those alerts of when we're seeing heavy rainfall in your area. Also, visit KXAN.com for the absolute latest. We're going to go ahead and return you back to your regularly scheduled program, and we'll see you back here in about 30 minutes.
This has been a severe weather alert from KXAN News.